Met a great girl, amazing first 2 dates. Now she wants to end things. I, 29M, met a girl, 24F, over 2 weeks ago off Hinge and the date went really well. It was initially just a coffee date, but we were both having a great time, so we had dinner and just kept hanging out more until the end of the night. The conversations and connection was really good, and she said the date is going really well. Before and after this date we were texting quite a bit and the messages had depth. The next day in one of the messages she said how she enjoyed the date a lot and would want to see me again. We set something up for a few days from then. The second date was even better and we hung out from mid-afternoon to end of the night. Once again, a lot of common values and connection, depth in conversation. At the end of the night we kissed twice and we both thought it was nice. During the second date we'd talked about our preference to just call over text, so the next day I called her up randomly at night and we chatted for about an hour, during which we set up our next date, dinner at my place. I called her again the next day and the conversation flowed well, just like the dates, and time passed without realizing it had been that long. We ended up talking for over 2 hours. The next 2 days we just exchanged sparse texts, and this is where things started to feel off. It felt off in that how can we have had a good date and conversations this week but you're not as interested to text as much as we were before date number 2, and she was the one that said on the call that bad texting is just an excuse. We were exchanging maybe one chain of responses at most in a day, with a teasing response part of the chain of 2/3 messages, but the frequency and low effort into meaningful conversations was what was bothering me most, that somehow she'd lost interest. At some point the response took so long I thought she'd ghosted me, only for her to respond the next day, and it was really taking me on an emotional roller coaster every day. I tried to be patient and see it through to the date. The night before date number 3 I called to confirm timings and we agreed on a time, but shortly after she said she needs more time to finish work and we can touch base end of week to reschedule. The reason seemed legit. I knew courses were starting up again for her. Since texting wasn't working for me I figured we should just be talking over the phone at night. I called her at the end of the day 2 days later but she never answered. The next morning she said she is overwhelmed with school and is going to be busy for a while so we should end things and wishing good luck. I'm self-aware enough to know that I'm not usually clingy or needy. I talk to plenty people on apps and the only reason I go so invested was because of the connection. I tried to tell myself things are fine because she was still responding once a day or so, but the discrepancy between good connection and the infrequent communication, especially when I had seen her be a better texter before, just wasn't working for me, which I tried to bridge by calling her instead. It's been a few days and I haven't responded yet in case there's a way to turn things around. Is there any way to fix things? What went wrong from my end? I shouldn't internalize everything to me and maybe nothing could have changed the outcome. But if there's something I could have done differently, I'd want to know and how to manage my expectations better. Please reserve the trolling and comments that aren't constructive. I'm here to grow and look for genuine advice. Thank you all in advance.